Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
The Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
But you haven't.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
There's insanity in the control room.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation, hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Waldorf. We're going to have a fantastic Wednesday show. Lots of interesting court stuff in the news today. Now, look, I'm actually not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse today either, because let's be honest, everybody's watching the Kyle Rittenhouse. I think everybody pretty much knows what's going on there. But we have some fun stuff and some not so fun stuff. We got, of course, QAnon Shaman. I do want to talk about him because, you know, I mean, what's a news day without talking about the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. We got Mike Pillow, of course, as well. We're going to talk about Mike Pillow and Nazis, also Australia for some odd reason. Yes, I know, it's all in there. Fun. We've got police arresting a black man for stealing his own car. But the story is complicated, but actually not complicated, because it turns out these police suck. You're not going to be surprised. And then we have another case of affluenza. Yes, if you remember the affluenza teen, this is a different story, actually, a different affluenza-related story, this time involving sexual assault. So, ooh, yeah, it's one of those days. So we got some rage, we got some anger, we got some laughs, including a crying rioter. All fun. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, thank you, TYT, for the raid. Those of you who don't already follow TYT, please give them a follow back. Really appreciate it. Thank you for coming over here, from Indisputable with Rashad Ritchie. I hear it's an excellent show, and that it is indisputable that it is excellent. I know. Terrible puns, but Rashad Ritchie, y'all are awesome. Thank you, Twitch community. TYT's Twitch community, staying for coming and joining us today. Could be fun. So let's do it. Let's start out with the Muffin Man. It appears that QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley will be spending a little bit of time in prison. Now, this is after pleading guilty to civil disorder, obstruction of official proceeding, and disorderly conduct in a restricted building on September 3rd, is receiving a total of 41 months in jail. Not bad. Not bad. So that's nearly 3.5 years. So it's about what we expected. It appears that we have finally went from fuck around to actually finding out. Great. So now this is the second longest sentence. Actually, it is the longest sentence. I believe that the other Capitol rioter that I covered earlier this week also received a 44-month or 41-month sentence. So not bad. So Chansley had spoken in his own defense at his hearing and asked Judge Royce C. Lambert for some leniency, arguing that while he broke the law, he has learned his lesson since his time in jail and in solitary confinement. Here's what he told the judge, quote, "Men of honor admit to when they're wrong. I was wrong for entering the Capitol. I have no excuse. No excuse whatsoever." So he also insisted that he is not an insurrectionist or a domestic terrorist, saying, "I am a good man who broke the law." No, I'm gonna disagree with that one. No, he's an insurrectionist, of course. Now, let's just say, I just want to point out that I don't agree with solitary confinement. I don't think we should send people to solitary confinement. Many experts, even the UN, has banned solitary confinement. It is literal torture. So I'm not on the side of torturing people, even though I do believe that Chansley belongs in jail and has belonged in jail. I don't think he's that much of a threat to where we should literally torture him. So he does not need solitary confinement. At the same time, look, not even the Muffin Man, as I mentioned, not even the Muffin Man deserves psychological torture, and that's what it is. And I'm very, very consistent on this. I'm not at all in favor of solitary. But if you want to put him in normal jail for 41 months, it's totally fine. Good, in fact. Now, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Kimberly Paschal had argued that no, Chansley should get 51 months. So that's 10 more months. Paschal insisted that it was necessary to show this defendant and any other, regardless of their creed, beliefs, political persuasion, or otherwise, to anyone who may wish to do harm in this city, to this country, to this democracy, the message today is don't. Again, I agree with that. That's a good message, but I'll also say this. He's already been in jail for almost a year now. So if they want to count that as time served, that's totally fine. 41 months, I'll take it. That sends a plenty good message. Now, again, I just want to remind you what he did to deserve that sentence. He was one of the first people to breach the Capitol, of course. Prosecutors noted that Chansley was also among a small group that stormed the Senate chamber, while dozens of elected officials were forced to hide. The defendant then stalked the hallowed halls of the building, riling up other members of the mob with his screaming obscenities about our nation's lawmakers and flaunting this opportunity to rid our government of those he has long considered to be traitors, prosecutors wrote in a sentencing memo. After getting into the chamber, by the grace of God, that's according to him, Chansley admitted to authorities he sat in Vice President Mike Pence's Senate dais seat because, I love this. This is what they thought of Mike Pence, okay?
Mike Pounds.
He is, quote unquote, a child trafficking traitor. Okay, I am no fan of Mike Pence. I don't really care about Mike Pence. I think he's a terrible person. But what I don't think that he is a child trafficker. I'm so tired. And by the way, this is the thing they go to. If the right does not like someone, they call them a pedophile. And that's what they do. Child trafficker, pedophile, Satanist, or Satan-worshipping, blood-drinking pedophile, that's QAnon. It's insanity. Total insanity. Hey, how about we not do that? How about we actually stick to the facts and the reasons why people do not like or why you don't like someone based on factual information? Because the thing is, I can tell you all the things I don't like about Mike Pence without having to make things up. He was a terrible governor, terrible vice president. He's got awful policies. He's incredibly socially conservative, doesn't like gay people, did one of the most restrictive abortion bans in Indiana when he was governor. See, that was really, really easy. I didn't have to make things up and calling me a child trafficker. Ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. Now, by the way, he had written to Mike Pence, "It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming." Now, later on, he's like, "Oh, no, that actually wasn't a threat. No, it's not a threat. Totally not." Just like the chant of, see, you heard hang Mike Pence. What we actually said is hang my pants. Hang my pants. Hang my pants. Hang my pants. See, no threat. There's no threat. In fact, Hensley was just letting them know that they were planning on doing laundry later and that, justice is coming for that ketchup stain in your suit. We're going to get that stain. We're going to get it. We're going to clean house, literally, by doing your laundry. No. And this is as he was protecting the muffins and singing the songs of his people. Ridiculous, right? Jesus. Now, the feds also noted that prior to the riot, Chansley was a leader of QAnon, at least a self-proclaimed leader of QAnon, which, again, as I mentioned before, that literally believes that the Democrats are running a child sex ring for Satan and drinking their blood. So, that's how it is. Yeah. Insanity. Now, the prosecutors, in a November sentencing memo, I read this on the show before, but I just wanted to refresh you on this. They said that the government cannot overstate the seriousness of the defendant's conduct as one of the most prominent figures of the historic riot on the Capitol on January 6th. His consistent rhetoric before and after the event, and its apparent ability to carry out his intentions of violently removing the traitors in our government, is clear from the evidence of this case. Only the valiant efforts of law enforcement kept those upon whom he set his sights out of this path. Now, that's a good point, because imagine if they had gotten to AOC, Mike Pence, or even Nancy Pelosi. Now, Nancy Pelosi is ancient and confused as it is, okay? She's out of it. She is not, look, she's an older person. She ain't all there anymore. Hey, it happens. Maybe she should retire. And Dianne Feinstein, barely there upstairs. Imagine if one of these idiots, one of these violent assholes, actually got their hands on one of those people. That's terrible. As much as I don't like any of the politicians, or a lot of the politicians on Capitol Hill, that doesn't mean I want them to be, assaulted by an angry mob. That's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I do not condone political violence. Now, there's some other things that they mentioned as well, and this is stuff that I don't really care too much about, but you know what? I will mention it anyway. So prosecutors in a memo in January noted that Chansley lied to authorities about drugs. Don't care. So he's like, oh, I only smoke pot 3 times a day. Or I'm sorry, not 3 times a day, 3 times a week. Okay, don't care. Now, in actuality, he apparently likes taking magic mushrooms and doing peyote. I don't care. Nobody cares to criminalize all drugs. It doesn't really matter. Why that would even matter? Why is that even relevant here? To this case, I have no idea. What's important about it is what he did. Okay? Now, what he did, by the way, was partly informed of some of the beliefs that he had. Like, again, in QAnon. Now, additionally, this is according to prosecutors, a full portrait of Chansley's mental health issues, which he has publicly disseminated, and which includes strongly held false mystical beliefs and leadership in a dangerous extremist group, QAnon founded on an imaginary conspiracy theory, were not disclosed by him, the memo says, adding that Chansley previously said he thinks he is quote-unquote an alien. God damn it, I wish I had that Alex Jones sound clip right now. I want to go to space. I want to see intergalactic travel. ET, phone home, please. And just go away. We don't want you anymore. Go. I'm not saying it's aliens. It's aliens. You're kidding. Now, look, the other interesting thing about Chansley, and you know, I don't really have too much of a problem with this as well, is the organic diet. I know a lot of people were making a lot of look, even I made jokes about it, sure. But here's the thing, right? So prison food sucks. I'm pretty sure it does. It's not gourmet. But here's the thing. He actually did get his organic diet. I actually think everyone else should also get an organic diet if they choose. I don't think Jacob Chansley deserves special treatment, but I do think we should make prison food better. Now, why? Why? Well, because it's supposed to be rehabilitation, guys. Have we kind of lost sight? This is the fact that, you know, I don't believe that people should be put in solitary confinement. I think that prison conditions shouldn't be as horrible as they are. And so, you know, some of the right-wingers have a little bit of a point. And this is kind of ironic because every time that, for example, people like Rand Paul want to make the case for prison reform or rehabilitation and things like that, it's because usually it involves a right-winger being put in bad conditions. That's the only time they give a shit about prison conditions. When it's black people in there for nonviolent drug crimes, well, that's different. They don't actually give a shit about that. But when it comes to some of their own, well, I mean, obviously we need to do some prison reform. We need to do it right now. No, we needed to do it before. Again, prison conditions in this country are barbaric. And we do need to rehabilitate people, and I think we should. And by the way, I said this before, Chansley, if Chansley goes into prison and 3 years later comes out as a better person, more stable, and actually recognizes reality and serves his time, well, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? I mean, as terrible as what Chansley and some of the others had done and believed, do we not want them to come out to be better people? Who disavow nonsense conspiracies, who disavow the far right, and disavow people like Trump. Now, of course, you have to be cautious about that, because as much as you want to believe people have changed, you have to see actions instead of words. And that is, understand that people do lie, people do obfuscate, and people are like, oh, no, I am completely rehabilitated, when they're actually not. So, yes, cautious optimism, for sure. I'm not naive, but I do want change. And I do want people, who go through our justice system to be, to be rehabilitated and to go back into society as normal people. And I hope, I hope during his time he learns, he turns against the far right for real, and helps people either avoid falling down the right-wing conspiracy hole or helps people get out of that hole before they end up like him. That would be nice. That is a hope that I have. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen like that. There could be absolutely no change. But I have to have a little bit of hope. Now, his lawyer, Al Watkins, says, well, Chansley has gone through a period of introspection and realized that he made himself open to propaganda from Trump. Okay. One major factor in his wake-up call, Watkins says, was Trump snubbing a pardon. Well, of course. So Donald Trump only cares about himself. So, of course, he pardoned. I mean, who did he choose to pardon? Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, who literally stole millions of dollars from the suckers at We Built the Wall and put it in his pocket. Millions of dollars. I mean, and yet that's the guy, instead of the people who tried to make him president, in their minds, they thought they were going to try to make him president again. Trump's like, yeah, don't care. Take out the trash. Steve Bannon, hey, buddy, I'll spring you, no problem. Because we're both con men. We're both grifters. And we both use those very people for our own ends. See, we're a lot alike, Steve Bannon and I, this Trump. So, yeah. Now, he also had noted that his client has rebranded and shall only be known henceforth as the Shaman. But, I already have a name for him. He's the Muffin Man, because he was protecting the muffins. This case, by the way, Watkins says, is not about Donald Trump. It's not about politics. Actually, it is partly about Donald Trump, and it is partly about massively right-wing politics. It is not about conspiracy theorists and those who embrace the resultant conspiracies. Yes, it is. Watkins wrote in the sentencing memo, Mr. Chansley is not a political prisoner. He does not seek to be labeled such. Rather, this case is about a frail and vulnerable human, one of our own, possibly our sibling, kin, friend, colleague, coworker, neighbor. Oh, for God's sakes, I hope I don't have someone like that as my neighbor. But okay, all right. You made your case. So I guess, look, he's going away for 3.5 years, which means he should be out sometime around 2024. Oh, shit. Just in time for the next election. Well, I guess we'll see where his loyalty really lies, and if he has been changed from. We'll see. Thanks. Are you going to do a story about Julius Jones? Let me look that up, because I may not have heard that. I don't remember hearing about that story. So, if you have a suggestion, let me know, and I will, work on that. Ex-cons can't vote. Oh, I didn't mean voting to a man. Not about voting, about whether or not they want to do that again. All right, let's go to Pillow Talk. Mike Pillow now believes that nefarious actors are looking to derail his Supreme Court lawsuit, which means it's time for another episode of Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign. Mike Lindell's a conspiracy. But you haven't. Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
That's right, Mike Pillow. I love calling him that, by the way. Mike Lindell on Tuesday recently claimed that the investigation into a MAGA Colorado elections clerk, this is Tina Peters. You may have heard that name, because he's always going on like, Tina Peters, what are they doing to Tina Peters? Tina Peters disappeared. Now, they think the investigation into her is part of a deep state plot to prevent him from restoring Trump to the White House. So we're still talking about this. Colorado Politics reports that the FBI recently carried out a court-ordered search of Peters' home in Mesa County early Tuesday morning, leaving her, quote-unquote, terrified, she said on an appearance on Lindell TV. Lindell said that one of the homes raided by law enforcement authorities belongs to Sharona Bishop, a Garfield County resident and a former campaign manager for Representative Lauren Boebert. The Daily Beast also notes that Peters, who has been stripped of her ability to run elections in the county, was involved in an amateur QAnon-tied investigation of voter fraud in the 2020 election. Because of course she was, yes. Yes. Absolute nuttery. We know there's no voter fraud. That's why you can't find any, no matter how hard they seem to look. But Lindell seems to have his own theory as to why this raid had happened on Tina Peters. Hold on to your tinfoil hats, everybody. It's about to get crazy.
You guys, this is to put fear into everybody. Look at the timing. 1 week from today, on November 23rd, the states are suing the U.S. government at the Supreme Court. It's over. All this is optics. It's marketing. It's marketing. That's what it all is. All the Dominion lawsuits, all these raids, all the stuff, the attacks on January 6th, it's all marketing. Then you have Fox not talking, horrible Fox not talking, and then you have all the left-wing media. This is all a big marketing campaign, everybody. It's propaganda. Hitler did it. Goebbels was the best at it back in Nazi Germany. That's what it is. It's brainwashing. You brainwash, and then you pit people against each other. Over in Australia right now, you can tell on your neighbor. You can tell on your neighbor. They got a little drone come up to you and go, "Get back in your house. Get back in your house." This is horrific. What's coming at us, but we are very blessed because we have all the evidence. We have the truth, and we're not going to let it happen here in this country.
Wow. Okay, then. So, wait. First it's fear, but then it's marketing. It sounds like a lot of projection here. But no, it's fear, marketing, and then it's Hitler. He's involved in there somewhere, and then Australia. Word salad. I feel like I should have brought a bottle of ranch dressing or something. Wow. Oh, it's terrible. Fox won't talk about it. Australia is Hitler. Jackbooted thugs. They're trying to make the people afraid. Look at Tina Peters. But we got the truth. What? Now, okay, it is kind of funny because he is talking about the raid, right? So, no, what do you think of when you think of like an FBI raid? You know, a bunch of agents just busting down the door, breaking in, we're trashing the place to dig through your stuff. Well, let me show you the raid here. This was, funny enough, Steve Bannon showed this on his podcast as evidence of the jackbooted thugs. Take a look.
Just let you guys know what's going on. So they got a federal search warrant they're going to enact that. They asked us that we just tell you guys stay over here. No problem. Else can't come on the property until after we're done.
Yeah, no, we're not trying to interfere or anything.
Two of us here, over here, just be two of us here. The other two are going to go back to doing what they're doing. So at that point.
Yeah, we're not trying to interfere with anything.
No, I know. I just want to let you guys know the lines too that way. Any questions for us at all? All right, thanks, fellas. Thanks for your service, by the way.
Oh my God, did you see the part where they calmly and nicely informed them of what was going on? The tyranny, the humanity. Nazi Germany, Australia! Really? Give me a break. Come on, guys. Literally the calmest, nicest raid I've ever seen. Seriously. That terrified Tina Peters. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, they're knocking politely at my door, and they're searching through my stuff. I'll give you the details on that. But here's the thing. The reason that it's such a nice, gentle raid is, of course, it's wealthy white Republicans. I mean, even when they're in trouble, they're still treated way better than poor people, especially minorities. So now, what is she alleged to have done? Why did the FBI come down on Tina Peters anyway? And why is Lindell freaking out? Well, Tina Peters was at Lindell's Cyber Symposium. So remember, that was the big thing that was supposed to reveal all the fraud and the China with the hacking of our elections, and prove without a shadow of a doubt that it's actually Donald Trump that is the real president of the United States, and that he was robbed. He was robbed. Joe Biden and the Chinese Communist Party took the election from them. They stole it. Okay, well, she was there. And a few days before her appearance there, Ron Watkins, who is the alleged QAnon mastermind, he could also be literally Q, posted images from Mesa County voting machines, while hard drives from the county's equipment later leaked online. So the very county that she was running elections for, that somehow all that data and images were leaked from that county just days before Tina Peters, who had access to all that information, he went to that cyber symposium. Gee, it must be a coincidence, right? Must be a coincidence. Yeah. Now, by the way, once people started getting suspicious of Peters, she was very sus, she then went into hiding, which is something that, you know, people who have done nothing wrong generally do. I am in hiding right now. I've done nothing wrong. Ridiculous. So, look, now, obviously, the raid was there to find any evidence that she was a leaker. You know, I remember when the Trump administration despised leakers. Now they love them. Absolutely love them. But honestly, no administration likes leakers, obviously. But this is election, you know, security stuff. Who knows what could happen with that information online? You know, so a lot of these counties that have had their audits and stuff, they have to go and get new machines and have to do all that stuff, replace a bunch of equipment, which is great for the companies, by the way. It's great for, you know, Dominion because, oh, they get more sales. But also terrible PR. Which is why, by the way, Mike Lindell is being sued for $1.3 billion. You know. But as I said, this is obviously posting those images. That is considered a crime. And of course, this crime was based on a lie, the big lie, and the fact that, of course, she literally went into hiding. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if they found any, you know, if they find evidence that she was the leaker. And I especially won't be surprised if they find that she did it for absolutely nothing. Because there was no fraud. There was no hacking. There was no tampering of the election. The only person who tried to mess with it was apparently her. And there it is. You're going to be broke soon. Very broke. True. True. All right. Let's go to another Capitol rioter. I'll not spend time shedding tears for owners. All right. Capitol rioter Danny DJ Rodriguez is feeling a little bit of regret. Not about what he did, which was, by the way, tase a police officer until that officer had a heart attack. That was Michael Fanone. No, he doesn't feel bad about what he did, but about admitting it. Oops, oh no. I accidentally confessed. Last month, Rodriguez had been calling himself so stupid after being arrested for tasing D.C. Metropolitan Police Officer Michael Fanone. He lost consciousness and had a heart attack. Here's what he told the FBI. This is fun. I love these quotes. I'm not smart. I'm so stupid. I'm an asshole. I'm a piece of shit. Yes, 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 and yes. All true. All true. He went on to say, I'm sorry. He was worried about what his mom would do if she's going to find out. What would mommy say? Mommy, what? Oh no, what is she going to say when she finds out that I did this? Literally crying, by the way, as he's getting arrested. He said, quote to the FBI agents, "Oh God, I shouldn't be crying. I'm a grown man and I knew what I was doing." This is before he was read his rights to remain silent. And so, wait, keep that in mind. That plays in later. Now, previously, this guy had told the FBI, or I should say afterwards, after he had gotten arrested and when he was being interviewed by the FBI, he had told them that he had tasered Officer Fanone to, quote-unquote, protect him from the mob. The mob of people that he was a part of. Does this guy not understand what protect means? Honestly? Oh, so what? You tased him to protect him, right? Now this was his response. Quote, I mean, that sounds stupid. Yes. I don't know if I tasered him to protect him, but maybe just to so he wouldn't struggle and get hurt. Maybe if they're going to beat him up or injure him, or I don't know, if they're going to, I don't know what was going to happen to him. The agent then said, well, then tell us what happened. Don't need the story to be this crappy story that you're telling us right now, that you were just there to help him and taser him. He then responded with, I'm not smart. About your mom. No, I'm just not smart. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm just really stupid. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that we were doing the wrong thing. I thought we were doing the right thing. I thought we were going to be, I'm so stupid. I thought I was going to be awesome. I thought I was a good guy. Am I mental? Am I just that stupid? Yes, you are. Did we all really are we all that stupid that we thought we were going to do this and save the country and it was all going to be fine after? We really thought that? That's so stupid, huh? All quotes. I love it. Yeah, it was really, really stupid. Really stupid of him. By the way, there's a reason. He was an avid listener of InfoWars, showing that, actually it proves the point that Alex Jones has successfully conducted his war against info. I think he's won. He won the war against info. No, he had more to say. He said, I really don't know exactly why I tased him. I mean, when I tased him, I really, when you do something, you're like, God damn it, why did I do that? I just got caught up in the moment, and I didn't really think. I didn't think about him and his family and what was going to happen to him. No, I don't actually know what that's like. The worst thing I'll do is, oh no, I forgot to call someone back. Not tase someone until they have a heart attack and possibly die. And that's while trying to do a, insurrection on behalf of Donald freaking Trump. But it gets worse. Now, Rodriguez now claims, after all of that, that was his earlier testimony, both at the time of his arrest, when he was crying for mommy, and also during his interview with the FBI, which was later on, where some of those quotes had come from. After all of that, he now says, I'm a victim. Oh, the fucking caucasity of this guy. He says that the traumatic experience of being arrested by the FBI at his home at 6 a.m, that's coercive. You should throw out my testimony because I was coerced. I was coerced. How can you coerce me by arresting me? It's not fair. Wow. Fucking wow. Now, okay, it's important to note that, by the way, when he was crying for mommy, like a sad little beta bitch that he was, okay, he had not been read his Miranda rights. So, okay, sure, we'll let that go. Right? That was part of his quote-unquote confession. Sure. Stricken from the record. He's got his Miranda rights. That's fine. Let it go. Let it go. The other stuff with the FBI, that's a little bit different. So I want to go here to federal prosecutor Kimberly Prashal, who said that when Rodriguez was questioned in an FBI office with a bottle of water sitting in front of him, he had been removed from the more coercive environment of his arrest. So he wasn't currently being, told, hands behind your back, you have the right to remain silent. No, he was sitting in an office. He was being being questioned, and so that's fair game. In fact, Prashal says almost every arrest is coercive. Yep. But what happened in Rodriguez's case, she said, is exactly what is supposed to happen. Rodriguez, she said, clearly understood his rights. and was willing to talk anyway. Well, I mean, yes and no, because think about it this way. From the sound of this guy, he's really dumb. Like, he is not a smart person at all. Maybe he didn't realize that he... And again, police officers read you your rights. They say you got these rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to the Fifth Amendment to not incriminate yourself. And you have the right to representation. And this guy, he's too stupid. And so he just spills it all. And then later on says, nope. Oh, no. I take it back. Take it back. Paschal says, look, he knows if he wants to invoke Miranda, he can. So District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson heard this argument and was like, yeah, no, not buying it. She then indicated that she will likely allow the confession to be used in trial. Good, but did throw him a little bit of a bone. Under Jackson's ruling, Rodriguez's pre-Miranda admissions will not be admissible at trial. In that portion of a video that was taken from the FBI during his questioning, Rodriguez described himself as so weak. So weak. Oh, God, I love this. As he cries about his actions that led to his arrest.
Beta male.
Oh, sad. Baby. Oh, pathetic. Super pathetic. But you know what? Lucky him, right? You should be glad that they're not going to show the rest of the court how much of a sad, pathetic little bitch he is. Good for him.
Beta male.
Oh, man. Literally my favorite story of the day. Ignorance is no excuse for not knowing the law. This is absolutely true. All right. So let's get to something a little bit more serious here. We have a police officer or a group of police officers that are in a little bit of legal trouble over a arrest. A Florida man is suing police for being arrested after they alleged that he had stolen his own car. So on Wednesday, the Miami New Times reported that Samuel Scott Jr. is filing a lawsuit for an incident that had happened back in 2018. So now Scott is suing the city of Miami and 5 different officers, Jonathan Guzman, Michael Bloom, Brandon Williams, Miguel Hernandez, and Randy Carriel, alleging that they had unlawfully searched, falsely imprisoned, and maliciously prosecuted him on that day in June of 2018, reported Alex DeLuca. Scott's attorney, Faudlin Pierre, tells the New Times that his client is seeking $500,000 in damages. So what happened? What happened? So on June 1st, 2018, 44-year-old Samuel Scott had called 911 to report his car stolen. So he had a 2006 Jeep Compass, and it was stolen from outside of his aunt's house in Buena Vista. Now, roughly about a half hour after the report, Scott was arrested by the Miami Police Department officers he had called to report the theft. Insanity. The details, of course, when you get into them, are even worse, including the dash cam, not dash cam, but officer cam footage that I will show you later. Now, the details here. Around 5:40 p.m., Scott had left his aunt's house after a quick visit and noticed that his Jeep was gone. According to Scott's arrest report, MPD officer Jonathan Guzman spotted the Jeep Compass driving 20 miles an hour over the speed limit just a few miles away. You know, likely, well, because it was stolen. And the guy's like, I gotta get away. Gone. I just stole this car, gotta go. Now, Guzman attempted to stop the vehicle when it hit another vehicle. So already that's an accident that could have gotten people hurt or killed. And then the driver fled on foot. Now, that driver was described as a black male, bald, about 6'2", and heavy set, wearing a white tank top. Very important details here, because cops are supposed to remember the details. Like, example, what they're wearing. So now Scott had filled out a stolen vehicle affidavit after the cops arrived. Now, they had arrived and began interrogating him, basically accusing him of stealing his own vehicle. Now, in fact, as he was filling out that affidavit, an officer had warned him that he would be arrested for filing a false report. Now, wait, okay. So why would you stage the theft of your own car and then call the police? That makes absolutely no sense, especially knowing how the police treat black men in America. Now, according to the complaint, the officer also asked Scott if his car had been repossessed. No. Another pulled out a taser, ready to use it. I'll show you that in the video. But going to what he was wearing. Now, Scott was wearing a black shirt over a white undershirt, not a tank top. And, by the way, is 4 inches shorter than the suspect's description, 5'8". I'm sorry, not 5'8". No. 5'10". Sorry, I don't know how to do that very easily, very well. Math is hard. Numbers are hard. Okay. Now, the arrest report states that the person reporting the stolen vehicle matched the description of the offender that fled the scene of the hit and run. Upon arrival, the complainant was wearing the same clothing description. Now, I'm going to show you the body cam footage and of how Mr. Scott was treated for reporting a stolen vehicle, his stolen vehicle.
Yeah, that's him. Sarge, he's sweating. He has a black shirt on top of the tank top shirt like he had when he was driving. Put your hands behind your back for me. Huh? Put your hands behind your back for me. 432. I'm detained right now. Why am I being detained? I'm gonna explain to you in a minute. Just come with me for a second. Where's your ID? Right there. You're gonna take all your stuff? We can't take this?
I'm telling you guys got the wrong guy. I can confirm where I was, and I can even confirm my activities. I recently logged off of the VPN at my job.
Okay. At what time?
Roughly before I came over here, before I called you guys. Okay. But I'm telling you, you guys got the wrong guy.
The description of the guy that took off from your car is just like yours.
But that's half of Miami. Bald-headed with a beard. Even if he had dreads, it's dreads with a beard. Okay. But then that's... It's not fair. I mean, like I said, my kids, I called because my car got stolen. My kids are over there. They don't even know what's going on.
So what time was your car stolen?
I told you, probably around about 5. I didn't pay attention to the time. I really just jumped out of the car to go see. That's it. If you want, like I said, we can go. Like, I had my kids and stuff like that, dropped them off, came over to say hi. And I went, I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't. I mean, like I said, I know the people that stay across there, over here, all over the place. I don't know what happened. My car just, somebody jumped in, drove off. And I'm sorry, but I'm telling you, I didn't do it. I mean, literally, I mean, why would I call the police? I mean, I called because my car is stolen. I mean, how many of my kids are going to get home? My pillow, my work ID, my work stuff, all of that stuff is in there. Why would I... That's why I'm like, why am I in handcuffs? If I'm calling them and I'm... Also, I don't know if you know, or look at my record, I've never been arrested. One of mine is, like, City of Miami, Dennis Jackson. He used to be my pastor. An retired City of Miami police officer.
You never been arrested before?
No.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Never been arrested. Ex-military, never been arrested.
What's the last 4 of your social?
Never been arrested before. Oh, are you sure? Yes, motherfucker, I'm sure. I would know if I was arrested before. Thank you. Look, this guy, I mean, look, this guy has been treated with disrespect after disrespect. I mean, this guy was not only victimized once by having his car stolen, but then victimized by the police, the people who were supposed to help him, or allegedly supposed to help him. Insane. Insane. And again, you can literally look it up to see if he's been arrested before, which he has not. And that said, doesn't even matter. Shouldn't even matter. It was his car, and it got stolen. Why? And he even asked the question. He's like, "Why would I steal my own car?" And then call the cops. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? What are you doing? And by the way, it doesn't matter apparently that he was wearing something different. No, they all look the same. They all look the same. And I also love the comment. I don't know if you caught it back there, but at the beginning he says, "Oh yeah, he's sweating." It's Florida. Everybody's sweating in Florida. Everyone. Jesus. You think cops are supposed to know these details? But no, all they see, well, he's black. He had to have done something wrong. Oh, and by the way, it gets worse because they actually tried to hit him with several things, even though he didn't actually do anything and he was the one victimized here. Oh, all right. In fact, according to the arrest report, the officers claimed that they found 4 plastic baggies in Scott's car that had green spots with suspected marijuana. Oh, of course they did. Oh, look at that. We've got pot. Oh, drug charge. Got him. Nailed it. Please. Now, they also, by the way, so this guy, Scott has a concealed carry permit. So he's armed. He keeps his gun in his car, and he also keeps his permit in the car with the gun. So now he was, according to the police report, Scott was charged with leaving the scene of an accident, false reporting of a crime, failed to carry a concealed weapon license, and possession of marijuana. All of the charges, by the way, were eventually dropped by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office because there was nothing there. Mr. Scott is a military veteran. He has a legal concealed carry weapon permit. There was no issue there. None. And again, the marijuana charge, he's still trying to figure out, like, wait, what? Where did you come up with the marijuana charge? Ridiculous. Again, it was all dropped because it wasn't actually marijuana. But they knew they messed up. They had to charge him with something. And so they tried. Didn't work out. Oh, yeah, they sure are hiring their best, aren't they? Jesus Christ. But no, obviously, false arrest. Now, Scott's lawsuit was filed on November 13th, and his lawyer, Faudlin Pierre, noted that no one else had been arrested for stealing and crashing Scott's car. Again, this guy has his car stolen, crashed. They didn't even go after the guy who did it, but went after him instead. And look, I've heard the stories of, like, people that report their car stolen, and the cops are just like, yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, sure, it's one of these days. And they just never do. I mean, so no, he's never going to get that back. He's never going to get any sort of restitution for what happened. Okay, and yes, he did get his car back because they found his car because it was crashed. But now, look, hopefully he's got a better car now, or if he wins, he get a way better car. Now, the city of Miami also didn't respond to emailed questions from the New Times asking whether anyone else was charged in connection with the incident. And all 5 officers, at least according to the MPD roster, are still on the force. They're still working. They're still doing their job. No problem. Now, Pierre says, hey, it'd be nice for Scott to at least get an apology from these officers, but then knows that that likely will not happen because, of course. And so as a result, they know, look, we're just going to seek compensation, and that's it. In fact, Pierre says this, yes, we want justice, but in the form of him being compensated. That's the only way our legal system actually provides any remedies. And that is so incredibly true. Again, for me, open and shut. This guy's going to win. But this is another example of, if there was not video evidence, and if there was not an outrage, if there, people weren't paying attention to what cops were doing, they might have gotten away with it. This is policing in America. This is what happens. If only we could, maybe do something about horrible policing in this country. But it turns out that OLDAT reform, do you remember when we had so much talk about, oh, we're going to reform the cops, we're going to reform the cops. Yes, we're going to make cops better. Oops, all that turned out to be complete hot air. No one has done a goddamn thing to ensure that police stop racially profiling. And the fact that these officers are still on the job with zero repercussions, well, shows that this kind of, what we consider to be bad policing, for them isn't bad at all. This isn't the bug, it's the feature. Totally acceptable, 100%. We love what these police officers are doing, says the city of Miami. And it's probably the most outrageous thing about this entire case is the fact that no one will be held accountable. It won't even come out of the police officers' pockets, their pensions, their budget, nothing. And so these officers will continue to do the same goddamn thing to the next poor black guy who gets in their way. Disgusting. As for Limit 85, that was the taser I was showing you. That one Hispanic cop had the taser, and yes, he looked like he was ready to fire it. Dade County arrested a 2-year-old claiming he was a robbery suspect. Jesus Christ. Oh, if you're not, fired up yet, we got one more story here that's going to, well, you're not going to be happy about it. Affluenza. And another example of a teen having affluenza, you have a New York man who, at the time, was a teenager and is both wealthy and connected, has avoided prison time for rape. Here we go. So now, the affluenza teen, if you can remember, not the same person as this person, but Ethan Couch was drunk and killed 4 people and was able to get away with it because, well, he's wealthy and he's connected and he's a member of an influential family. Now, in this case, Christopher Belter, who is now 20 years old, was sentenced to 8 years of probation after admitting in 2019 to 3rd-degree rape, attempted 1st-degree sexual abuse, and 2 misdemeanor charges of 2nd-degree sexual abuse. Now, according to New York law, 1st-degree sexual abuse and 3rd-degree rape are both low-level felonies, class D and E, I believe, which I believe is punishable by at least 14 months to a year in prison. Now, the first charge involves sexual intercourse with the lack of consent due to factors like intoxication. The second charge applies in situations where there isn't penetrative sex, but where the perpetrator either uses force in things like oral sex, or the victim is physically helpless. Again, people who are possibly disabled or, of course, passed out. So this guy is basically had been preying on teenage girls that were around his own age, getting them drunk, getting them high, and then when they pass out, assaulting them. Jesus. So now it turns out that his family home was the local party house. which was encouraged by his 50-year-old mother, Tricia Vacanti, 56-year-old stepfather, Gary Sillo, and family friend, Jessica Long, 42, who allegedly supplied the teenage girls with alcohol and cannabis. Now, the state police are alleging that that the adults had groomed the girls for sexual assaults by Belter. So, and that seems about right. They go in and they say, "Oh, we got booze, we got everything, man. To have fun, party, let's have fun." And they do, and when they pass out, they let this predator take advantage. Disgusting. Now, all three of the adults had pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor charges of child endangerment and unlawfully dealing with a child. So now that's the details, right? Now, all that had to be detailed in court proceedings, which is hard enough as it is for survivors. But it wasn't just the details of the assault that had to be gone over and dissected in court that made one of the victims get literally physically ill. It was a sentence. According to Washington Post, Niagara County Court Judge Matthew Murphy III had concluded that after hearing everything, that jail time would be quote unquote inappropriate. Oh, you don't say. Here's a quote. He said, "I'm not ashamed to say that I actually prayed over what is the appropriate sentence in this case, because there was great pain. There was great harm. There were multiple crimes committed in this case." Okay, but you're the judge. You're supposed to decide the sentence, not Jesus. And why are you praying? The guy, I'll tell you who was praying. This man, he was praying on women. He was preying on girls, teen girls his own age. He's a predator. He's a sexual predator and was enabled by his parents and a family friend. This should be very, very easy. Super, super easy. You should lock him away before he hurts someone else. But no, 8 years of probation. That's it. That's all he gets. Along with, of course, let me give you the last part of the quote here. "It seems to me that a sentence that involves incarceration or partial incarceration is inappropriate, so I am going to sentence you to probation." And along with probation, Belter has to register as a sex offender as part of his sentence. Now, that, of course, led to one of the victims. It was represented by Stephen Cohen. Now, so this lawyer, Stephen Cohen, had objected to this sentence, rightly so, and noted to the court that my client just threw up in the ladies' room following the sentencing. If Chris Belter was not a white defendant from a rich and influential family, in my experience, he would surely have been sentenced to prison. Absolutely. If he were black, he'd be under the prison. And again, I wouldn't be opposed to putting a predator in jail. I'm not looking for like crazy sentences. I'm looking for an equal application of justice among all people. Here we see another example of a wealthy white connected teen who gets preferential treatment, while there are people who are minorities, who are poor, who do not get equal treatment under the law, who get thrown in prison. And of course, a lot of it has to do with, I think most of it has to do with class, honestly. I mean, you know, this judge probably looks at this kid and says, well, there by the grace of God goes I. I could have been that kid. Oh, I could have got myself into trouble. I was a teenager once. No, it's not about being, again, this guy's a predator. He's a predator. Now, Belter's attorney, of course, said, oh, well, he is tremendously remorseful. Tremendously. And that, you know, he just feels so terrible about what he did. No, terrible about getting caught. That's what I think. Now, you might say, look, well, he's branded a sex offender. If you're a sex offender, well, I mean, That's a lot of stuff that's now in your way. It's on your record. People know. He has to, people are going to know where he lives, and because there's notices everywhere, and there's a lot of restrictions. Well, again, these are restrictions that would harm someone who, way more somebody who is poor than someone who is wealthy and connected. This is not going to harm him all that much, really. Rich people are going to be, he's going to be okay. And that's kind of the problem. Okay? If you think probation and a sex offender is going to stop a wealthy predator, think again. Think again. Now, Sarah Sheldon, the now retired judge who had accepted Belter's plea agreement 2 years ago, had placed the teen on 2 years of probation. You want to guess how that turned out? And that's relevant because, again, he was on probation before, now he's going to be on probation for another 8 years. That's it. She predicted that Belter would struggle to comply with the court-ordered restrictions of probation. And of course, what happened? She was absolutely right. One of the restrictions placed upon him was access to pornographic materials on his computer. Guess what? He admitted to the court that he installed software to get around it. Well, you just broke probation. Seriously. But yet, no, more probation. Sure, you broke probation. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, you kids, you know how it is. You're gonna be okay. Disgusting. Now there was one thing that Murphy did, and that he did refuse to allow Belter to apply for youthful offender status because when he had done this, he was actually, I think, 16. And so the case is a few years old. And so he was 15, 16, and I think he was 16, 17, around that age, and had preyed on women who were, girls who were 16, and one who was 15. And so they're like, no, you get to be tried as an adult. Well, they didn't really do a whole lot. So now he also noted that the now 20-year-old who said he has been viewing porn since he was 7. Bug on me. Okay. So Murphy did know that the now 20-year-old who said he had been viewing porn since he was 7 recently had been treated with medication to lessen his libido. Oh, but that's not the point here, okay? So, look, the problem isn't people with high sexual libido, okay? The people with a high sex drive, they're still able to control themselves. You know what I'm saying? And not purposely prey on girls, getting them drunk and then raping them. This guy's a predator. It's not about having a high sex drive. It's about, again, being enabled by your family to be a predator. And then your rich family and your connections then allow you to do whatever the hell you want. No. Again, you got to think about the victims here. Think about the victims. And I know there are going to be people who are like, oh, no, you understand, it's the girl's fault. They were drinking and they were partying. They brought it on themselves. No, not at all. Here's the thing. If you cannot consent, then it's rape. Drinking or getting high does not excuse rape. That is not the same as consent. Wearing short dresses or skimpy clothes does not excuse rape. Nothing excuses rape, period. End of story. End of sentence. But there is going to be the victim blamers, of course. But overall, here we go again. Another white, wealthy, powerful person, man, gets away with doing heinous crimes in victimizing women. Because of course. It's affluenza all over again. Absolutely disgusting. All right. Well, that's it. Enraging. This has been an enraging day. Yikes. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. By the way, there was a part in the story. Some of you have already mentioned it in the chat that he started watching pornographic material when he was 7. Okay, but that still doesn't excuse hitting on people. I mean, it's what frustrates me here about this case so much is that you have this family that knows that, okay, he's like he's a super horny teen. Well, what teen isn't like super horny, right? But no, they decide to allow him to prey on other people. And that is the big problem here. There's a million different ways they could have done something. Not necessarily like, anything that was like, I don't, like, what they did is enable him to assault people. And they could have handled this libido thing, this super high sex drive. Because again, having that does not make you a predator in itself. It's what you do. And it's what you think you're allowed to do. Being a member of a super rich, influential family that, allowed this party house atmosphere to happen where they lured girls in to get assaulted, it's just sickening. The parents here should also get in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. And we don't see that. They've only been charged with misdemeanors. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Good Lord. All right. Fucking horrible case. Okay. Anyway. I mean, for real, I played GTA when I was 9 too, and I don't go around stealing cars now. Yeah. That's a fantastic point. It's actually the point that I'm getting to. Just rich people get away with almost everything. Hate it. Okay. Let's end the show. Sorry, I'm going to send you away with such disastrous news, but you talk about what's in the news. So there it is. All right. A little light on Super Chat today, but I'm going to read it anyway. So, and I appreciate those who help us out through that. I understand with the heavy stories today. Oh no, that's wrong. You know what I have?
There's insanity in the control room.
Yeah, that's what's going on. All right, so okay. Monty Darno, thank you for the kind $5. It says, in honor of Gabby Mathis, who sent an indisputable chat that she can't make it here today. Happy Hump Day and replace Garland and screw Gozar. Yes, I agree with all that. Dango Mango says, daily replace Garland for not going after Gozar. Yeah, Paul Gozar. Again, you look at all the injustice that happens. Every day. Again, we just covered like fraction of it today. But there's so much more that's going on. Just disgusting. High libido has jack shit to do with his behavior. Glad it's not my relatives. Sorry for those girls being debased like that. Thank you. I agree with you 100%, Stephanie Sass. Hey, thank you, Rialan N, for the very kind donation. For Gabby Mathis, I hope your appointment went okay. Yes, loved Gabby Mathis. Absolutely. Okay. Let's do a raid here. Let's raid into on Twitch. We got two TYTs up now. See, there's the Twitchuation room, or there's also the surfs that are on, or Vosh. So that's what I'm seeing right now. We'll raid into Twitchuation. Thank you all. Again, I appreciate it. You're awesome. I love you all. You have an excellent evening. We'll see you tomorrow back here, 4 p.m. Eastern every day, right here. And become a patron. Become a patron, or support our channel in other different ways. Consume Shrooms, thank you for resubbing for a month at Tier 1. Appreciate that as well. And thank you for the new follows. And as always, once again, thank you, TYT, for the raid. Really, really appreciate it. All right, everybody. See you later. Have a good one. Remember, change begins with you.
Oh no! Stop with the questions. Celebrate! How you like that, boy?
Amazing.
Beta male.
Please clap.
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.